Vice President J.D. Vance just had one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever seen in politics. While the Ohio State University football team was at the White House to celebrate their national championship victory today, J.D. Vance went to hoist the national championship trophy and he dropped it. He dropped the trophy and broke it in front of the entire team, in front of the media, in front of everybody in attendance. It was just so embarrassing. So I have a clip of the moment to show you. We'll watch it and talk about it after, but it is just so bad. Have a look. I mean, how embarrassing is that? J.D. Vance can't even lift a trophy correctly, let alone be part of running a country. And there's another angle I want to show you that is in higher definition. And just listen to what the man recording the video had to say about J.D. Vance. He predicted the future, basically. Just take a look.
It's going to break him. I told you.
Yeah, the man recording was like, he's going to break it. And what do you know? J.D. Vance broke the trophy. And I love the reactions of the players in the crowd. They see him breaking it and they're like, oh, damn. They're obviously unhappy because J.D. Vance is breaking the trophy that they worked so hard to get. And I just think their reactions in the crowd are so funny. And I also have photos from the moment, like live shots of J.D. Vance breaking the trophy that I just have to show you. They are too good to not. Look at this. I mean, he is fumbling it in real time, not to reference football at all. But how embarrassing, just how embarrassing. And he eventually just gave up. He just like took the part that he broke and lifted that up and not the stand with it. It is so humiliating, so embarrassing. And J.D. Vance actually ended up responding to him breaking the trophy. He tried to make a joke out of it and kind of take some heat off of himself. And of course, it didn't go well. He said, quote, "I didn't want anyone after Ohio State to get the trophy, so I decided to break it." It just didn't land. It's not funny. I don't even think MAGA is going to find that funny. But, you know, as I said, if J.D. Vance can't even lift a trophy correctly, how do we expect him to be able to run a country correctly, along with Trump, who is obviously incompetent? So that's what the Trump administration was up to today, embarrassing the United States once more. But it's not the only way that the Trump administration embarrassed the United States and also hurt the United States, because Trump earlier today met with Bukele, the leader of El Salvador, the self-described dictator in El Salvador. And they were talking about this story that we've heard about for a while, a story we've talked about on this channel, a man by the name of Abrego Garcia, a man that lived in Maryland. He had no criminal record, no gang affiliation. He was in the United States legally, was granted a stay in the United States by a federal judge, and the Trump administration deported him to a prison in El Salvador. He's currently sitting there, no due process, no nothing. The Trump administration admitted in federal court that they improperly deported him, and they were ordered by the Supreme Court in a 9-0 ruling. Yes, 9-0, where Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito agreed that they improperly deported him, that he was ordered by the Supreme Court to bring this man back, and both Trump and Bukele are saying no. They're openly defying the United States Supreme Court. They're openly defying a 9-0 ruling. They are plunging us into constitutional chaos. And so Bukele was asked, will he allow the man to come back to the United States? This is somebody that Donald Trump has praised a lot. And he said, I don't have the power to do that. Just take a look.
How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So you can release him inside El Salvador?
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. We just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into
there's a fascination.
Wow. I mean, Bukele is calling this man a terrorist. Donald Trump is calling him a criminal. He has no criminal history, no criminal record, and he was deported improperly. Trump's administration in court argued that he was deported improperly. And Trump himself is saying, oh, no, the media just wants another criminal in our country. What is wrong with this guy? They are openly defying a federal court order from the Supreme Court of the United States. And then another journalist followed up with Trump and said, quote, you said that if SCOTUS said someone needed to be returned, you would abide by that. You said that on Air Force One just a few days ago, which Donald Trump did. He said he would abide by that ruling. And just take a look at his response to this question.
You said that if the Supreme Court said someone needed to be returned, that you would abide clarify that. You said that on Air Force One just a few days ago, and they said that it must be facilitated.
Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that? Why do you go over and over? And that's why nobody watches you anymore. You know, you have no credibility. Please, go ahead.
President Trump.
Yeah, I mean, this is so frustrating. It's hard for me to even watch. No answer to the question, just completely dodged it. And you can see like JD Vance, the trophy fumbler, sitting there on the right next to Marco Rubio, just nodding along, saying, isn't it great that we're keeping criminals out of the country? The guy's not a criminal. Abrego Garcia is not a criminal. No criminal history. Trump, again, I want to keep emphasizing this point, acknowledged in court that he was deported improperly. And now both him and Bukele are saying, oh, he's a criminal that can't be released into the United States. And even if we want to release him, we don't have the power to do that. It is utter nonsense. And then it got even worse, if you can believe that. Donald Trump was asked if he'd deport American citizens to El Salvador, to this prison that's not here in the United States. And just take a look at his answer. It is sickening.
Just a follow-up question, a clarification. You mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens but are criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens, fully naturalized Americans?
If they're criminals and if they hit people with baseball bats over their head that happen to be 90 years old, and if they rape 87-year-old women in Coney Island, Brooklyn, yeah, that includes them. What, do you think there's a special category of person? They're as bad as anybody that comes in. We have bad ones too. And I'm all for it, because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. And we have a huge prison population. We have a huge number of prisons, and then we have the private prisons, and some are operated well, I guess, and some aren't. But he does a great job with that. We have others that we're negotiating with too. But no, if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're still...
So just to be clear, that's Donald Trump openly saying that he is interested and willing to deport American citizens to El Salvador. Deport American citizens to El Salvador. He also says he's negotiating with other countries to do the same. Now, let's be clear here. When Donald Trump talks about criminals, he's not just talking about really bad people, although those people shouldn't be deported either, right? That's completely against their due process and constitutional rights. But when he talks about criminal, he's not just saying bad people. He's saying anybody that he perceives to be a criminal. And his position is that once they are deported, he has no authority to bring them back. None of us are safe under that framework, under that view, where anybody can be deported, and once they are deported, they can't come back. And of course, Donald Trump views Hillary Clinton as a criminal, for example. None of us are safe. None of us are safe under an administration that holds that view. This is why it's so terrifying what Trump, JD Vance, and the entire Trump administration are doing. So not only are they plunging us into constitutional chaos by ignoring a 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, by refusing to bring a wrongly deported man back, by threatening to deport American citizens, but they're also just embarrassing us on the world stage with crap like this, where JD Vance is fumbling trophies. He has no idea what he's doing. Trump has no idea what he's doing. This is what the Trump administration was up to today. Constitutional chaos and embarrassment, which feels kind of like every day under Donald Trump. So anyway, I just wanted to bring these two stories to you and point out how this is currently the Vice President of the United States doing stuff like this, and how Trump is making everything worse, as he does so well. But I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Make sure to drop a like on the video as well. Comment. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff. And as I always say, I really, really appreciate you very much so. I hope you're doing well, and we will talk soon.